What's going on? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow with a video I wasn't even counting on doing. But I ran into an article on Boxing Scene where Bob Arum said there's no other way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no other way to do Terence Crawford and Errol Spence but pay-per-view. We back. Y'all know what it is. One time for the one time. It's the Boxing Clinic and more. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you know we upload and go live. And also, don't forget to share the video, man. That's just important as anything, man. Share. And basically, Bob Arum saying that, you know, ESPN don't have a budget for Crawford and Spence, and Showtime don't have a budget for Crawford and Spence. So, you know, to make it convenient for both guys to put it on pay-per-view. But what pay-per-view would it go through? Showtime, ESPN? That's another question. But, you know, if you ever notice the sequence of Top Rank, or just looking at their fights, it's always an A fighter versus a B fighter, but mostly it's an A fighter versus a C fighter. It's a guy like Lomachenko versus a guy like Moraga. It's a guy like Terence Crawford, you know, versus a guy like you know, Darijan or Felix. It's always a C fighter, and sometimes you'll get that A versus B fighter like Crawford and Horn or Lomachenko and Linares. But you never see two A fighters, you know, on the Top Rank ESPN card. Even when he was on HBO, you rarely got two A fighters. And when you say A fighter or A side fighters, two big money fighters, I want to say, a Danny versus a Sean, or a Danny versus a Keith Thurman, you know, like that. That's what type of fights you want to see, or a Keith versus Sean, even though Sean is more of a B side. But two big fighters, you know, that demand a good split. And, you know, Showtime and Premier Boxing Champions was able to give you Keith and Sean, and Keith and Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia, at the time, and it's just as big a name as Keith Thurman. They found that in the budget, and I believe they put both of those on CBS, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and I've been against making this a pay-per-view. This don't need to be a pay-per-view. I'm sorry. You know, they told, and you know, Bob says, you know, at the end of the day, you can make it a pay-per-view and they can split the revenue. At the end of the day, if you make it a pay-per-view, they may not even come home what they bring on a regular fight. I'm not sure what Errol made this weekend, but I know Terence made $3 million. They may not even bring home that. You never really heard about the purse that Terence and Victor Postile made. They only did $60K pay-per-view. So what did they make? I'm not saying this fight will do anywhere close to that. It's going to be above that. But it won't do $1 million. It won't turn a hard profit. And right now, I have a hard time seeing it do $500K. And people act like this fight is this big, massive fight. It's not. It's not a big, massive fight. Not right now. And it's going to take years of building. Because you're going to have to get, like I just did a video, it's kind of lined up perfect. You're going to have to get Danny, Sean, and Keith Thurman and really promote those fights and put Errol on that pedestal. You know, most fans buy pay-per-view because it's a star. It's a transcendent star in the sport of boxing. You done seen him mature. You done seen him fight a lot of times. And he's synonymous with the sport of boxing like Canelo. You know, he got a whole country behind him. You know, and most of the American and Mexicans and the Mexicans that's in America, they going to support him. They going to buy it. You know, for Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, they ain't as fortunate as Canelo to have that backing. And people think I'm shitting on them, but I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. You know, it's going to have to do a lot of building, a lot of marketing. And Terence Crawford and neither one of them is a big self-promoters. Errol is trying. Terence is having ESPN really put him on the forefront, finally putting him back on ESPN and hopefully potentially on ABC. That would do a lot. But the opponents that he got lined up, Benavidez, Adames, the other Ukrainian guy, those not going to transcend him and take him to the level he needs to be on. And what these promoters are forgetting is they not appealing to an older school of boxing. You know, they appealing to the new school, but they still appealing to both at the same time. You got to put these guys in tough fights, man. Tough 50-50 fights. Tough fights. The ideal situation for Crawford is to get Keith Thurman over there and get that belt. And fight Keith on ESPN. For Errol Spence, get the winner, Danny and Sean, and both blow up together. You know, neither one of them had what Floyd had, was that, and Pacquiao had, was Oscar De La Hoya to put them on that pedestal and pass the torch. Pacquiao and Floyd ain't trying to pass the torch to none of them guys. They forget that Oscar De La Hoya passed that torch, and they was able to step into superstardom like that. Now, people tend to forget that. These guys don't have that pedestal. They don't have that opportunity. And what they got on their hands is trying to make a way. It's not a pay-per-view fight. It's not a mega fight. A super fight is $1 million. A mega fight is, you know, you above $1 million. Well above the threshold of $1 million. It's not that. Both of them is too boring right now. But it's picking up traction. Terence is doing interviews. People are learning Terence. ESPN really, really wants the best for Terence, I could tell. And they also was promoting the Errol Spence fight on ESPN. So with both networks working together, it can happen. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately gonna come on with you, how your personality shows and pours out in the ring. Can people really, you know, feel you? Can they connect with you? And ultimately, it's gonna be what you do in the ring, and not just what you do in the ring. Do you have the right opponents to really put you in the fans' eye that way? Do you have those classic fights? Do you have those tough fights? And that's ultimately what it's gonna be. I think this fight, this is my opinion. A lot of people are gonna disagree with me. This fight is for what boxing needs on network television. Not HBO, Showtime, ESPN. I'm talking ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC. This is what boxing needs. It needs to be on a good card. It needs to be with a good card. You know, this is what boxing needs. This is what Keith Thurman was trying to keep going. Keith Thurman said, I don't want to fight on pay-per-view. You know, I want to fight on network television because you know network television is a faster, quicker way to being a pay-per-view star. Because it's accessible, people can see you, you know, and everybody can tune in. And you're going to get more viewers than premium, than ESPN, than basic cable, and then pay-per-view. This is where pay-per-view starts. With these two guys fighting on a CBS and NBC or ABC or Fox and being promoted right. This is where it started at. These guys this ain't the pinnacle of their career where it turned out to be, they could be pay-per-view stars. This is the savior of boxing. This is the true fight boxing needs. In front of every eyeball on the set that could watch the fight. They just wanted to be cute with the WBO, the IBF, the WC, the WB on the line. They don't even need that. Once fight fans tune in and you able to market it and promote this fight, which a lot of older promoters and old school guys don't know how to market to the new generation, which is through YouTube, which is through Facebook, which is through Instagram, which through what the things that they watch. You know, which is doing, you know, part reality TV show would draw people in. That's what people want to see. People want to see a glimpse into your life, how you live, and people want to see your personality. And both of these guys are fairly private people, but that's one of the quickest ways to pay-per-view is self-promoting yourself. And not being ignorant and compromising your dignity and compromising your integrity. You don't need to do that. You can keep it clean and family fun and still be cool. But at the end of the day, regular network TV needs this fight, and boxing needs this fight to be accessible and free. You know, and like I said, Sugar Ray Leonard made $10 million fighting on network TV. It could be done. You could price the ads a little bit like what the Super Bowl do, but not as high. But if they want to do it on pay-per-view, both of these guys ain't going to continue to grow. It's just going to stunt their growth. After that, they won't be pay-per-view stars. Trust me. You know, and if you're talking about this going to be doing $500K, you're talking about 2 or 3 years down the line. Who knows who can make the weight? Who knows what can happen 2 or 3 years down the line? Errol has to chase down, you know, Sean, Danny, and Keith. You know, and Terence possibly could run out of welterweight opponents. You know, but what Bob Arum says that it's so much demand for both of these guys, you got to do it on pay-per-view. No, it's not. No, it's not. I think this fight is similar to where Keith and Sean and Danny was at this point right now. I think it got way more potential than that. But I think it's about right there at that threshold with those guys are at. Seriously. I think it's about right there, and I think it's ready to blow. With them fighting a week apart, I think it's ready to blow, but I don't see it blowing to be $1 million pay-per-view. People don't understand how hard $1 million pay-per-view is to do without having some assistance from a former pay-per-view star. And the former pay-per-view stars in Pacquiao and Mayweather don't want to lend a helping hand. And why should they? You know, they don't want to pass the torch to Terence. They don't want to pass the torch to Errol. But, you know, like I said, man, it's going to be them self-promoting themselves. But this ain't a pay-per-view, dog. I'm telling you, this ain't something that casual fans going to spend $60, $70, $80 when, not right now. But I think Bob is talking about in the future. In the future, it could be something like that. It could reach 500K pay-per-views. But I know, you know, this ain't the most popular pay-per-view out there, and I don't think it will be, but it's a fight that will deliver. But I'm telling you, network television needs this fight. This is a fight that the youth and all the casuals and the hardcores need to be able to be accessible to. But boxing keeps getting in his way trying to promote this pay-per-view. Pay-per-view model is dead, man. It's dead. Because your ex-pay-per-view champions or ex-pay-per-view stars didn't want to pass the torch and put these guys on. But I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this, but it is what it is. You know, in due time, you guys will see the business side of this. And this is a reason that Bob Arum don't want to make it work. Because his network don't have the money to make it work. Trust me, Showtime and Al Heyman can find a way to pay these dudes about $5 or $6 million a piece and make it work. But he don't want this fighter to go over there and see what he could really make with somebody else. And he want him to continue to pledge allegiance to Top Rank. Because Top Rank ain't got it, don't mean nobody else got it. But we on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Those links in the description. If you want to donate, the PayPal link is in the description as well. Definitely appreciate you guys. Continue to share the videos. One time for the one time. Your boy Goodfella. We gone.